Akka Howler is a zeppeli. The Howlers are descendants of the Steel Ball Universe's zeppeli bloodline. And yes, I know I sound like a crackhead in a shady alleyway talking about some the earth is flat and the government is run by aliens type theory, but hear me out. To begin understanding this theory, we have to go back to the beginning of the Howler bloodline, to Letrato. Letrato is the first Howler who is introduced in a flashback detailing how he survived an accident at sea, being a sailor from Italy. He then gained the trust of the Hawaiian royal family, gaining access to the northern slopes of Hawaii, where he used his quote-unquote natural intuition of terrain to find water and supposedly found the lava rock and founded Howler Co.
Being a sailor from Italy.
Wrap it up. This theory actually cannot be true. Is what I would have said if there was something about this flashback that isn't present in any other flashbacks in the part. This flashback is from the in-universe reports of the past, and there is one word that sows doubt within the accuracy of the reports, holding this entire theory together, and that word is the word if the reports are true. But what if these reports aren't? Every flashback is assumed to be nothing but the truth. But this is the only time where there's a plausible assumption that whatever information we're receiving from this flashback is completely false. These are reports of the past from an in-universe perspective, which is obvious because there's no mention of the lava rock anywhere when Letrato finds water in the mountain. So what I'm trying to get across is that if the actual past is something different than what we're being shown in this flashback, then the truth could be that Letrato didn't originate from Italy, but from the kingdom of Naples. If Letrato is part of the zeppeli bloodline, it would make sense why he would lie about his true origin. The zeppeli bloodline of the Steel Ball Run universe is a bloodline of executioners of the kingdom of Naples, their duty passing down from generation to generation. As part of the zeppeli bloodline, Letrato has the duty to be an executioner, and running away from being a successor would likely be seen as a stain in the zeppeli bloodline. So, if the zeppeli family didn't want a blatant black sheep in their family, what would they do? Clean it up and take care of the black sheep. I believe that Letrato either isn't proud of his bloodline as a zeppeli or didn't want to become an executioner and ran away from home, taking a ship to America, one in which an assassin was sent to kill him or a bomb meant to blow that bill up. And somehow, Letrato survived whatever attack he faced and washed ashore on Hawaii. Washing up ashore and likely fearing for his life. No wonder he would lie about his entire past, and maybe even his own name. When Letrato was given the north slope of Hawaii, he was said to have a sort of intuition to the terrain. But I don't think it was just any intuition, but actually the spin. However, if Letrato truly is a zeppeli and knows how to use the spin, how come we don't see anyone else in the Howler lineage use the spin? Why would he want to teach a future family something that he ran away from? He ran away from everything he knew to escape the duty of being an executioner. Of course he wouldn't want to teach the express technique meant for execution to his descendants. The descendant we know most is Akka Howler, who was granted riches but had the duty to keep the riches of the Howlers safe through the lava rock. As a child, Akka's grandfather introduced the lava rock to him, stating its importance to the Howlers as part of Letrato's will, and how anything will eventually return to the chest the lava rock is being kept in. But the lava rock is just like everything else in the world, and it is deteriorating, hinting at Akka that the lava rock's powers are going to deteriorate within his era. Then, when Akka is a young adult, his grandfather talks to him once more, telling him how the Howlers are currently at the apex of their wealth, but are now at risk of falling from their peak due to enemies made in spite of their wealth. Akka's grandfather then gave Akka the duty and instruction on how to possibly make or find more lava rocks, revealing that the lava rock in the chest has completely deteriorated. On a seemingly unrelated note, as a 9-year-old, Gyro's father introduces him to the spin by tasking him with taking a steel ball out of his father's hands. When Gyro tries to do underhanded tricks to steal the ball, his father tells him that he must take it using the rotation of the spin, telling Gyro that it is a skill passed down by generations that he must be able to master by 13. When Gyro is 13, his father informs him of the duty that the Kingdom of Naples has passed down to the Zeppelis for 380 years. Firsthand, Gyro witnesses his father work as an executioner and begins to work as an assistant to his father. So, why bring up Gyro's backstory when talking about Hacca's backstory? Well, because these two backstories share the same plot beats. A father figure teaches both of them something about their family while hinting at something in the future. And when that future event comes, they're given a duty that's passed down to them, which has been passed down from generations. There is no way this is a coincidence. How are two different families acting the same way? Unless they're actually part of the same bloodline. But if Hacca is meant to be a zeppeli, why is he introduced as an antagonist? He even seems to be a main villain, with how he talks to Jodio and his plan to obtain the Lavrock being similar to Pucci's Heaven plan. Well, what if I told you that Hacca was actually a twist Jobro? See, there's this YouTuber called Blade of the Grass who makes very interesting video essays about anime and JoJo's. And he has a theory that Meryl May is a twist villain. So, if that were to be true, then it doesn't rule out the possibility of Hacca being a twist Jobro. Something very interesting about Hacca and Jodio's stands is that they are visually polar opposites of each other. Don't you see it? Their faces have empty spaces in mirrored spots, and I've personally referred to them as sort of masks. November Rain is missing the sides of its mask, while Eclipse 8 is missing the middle column of its mask. They even stand next to their users differently, with November Rain towering over Jodio, while Eclipse 8 crawls below Hacca or is hunched over. The ability of the two stands so far seem opposite as well. November Rain shoots rain down, while Eclipse 8 shoots mist up. With them mirroring each other in every way, I see this to mean that these two stands are two sides of the same coin, which I read as them having the strong possibility of teaming up. But their opposites could mean that they'll fight and butt heads at every chance. I have a question for you. Why Eclipse 8 specifically? Yes, Hacca is the 8th descendant of the Howlers, but why is he the 8th one? Why is it so important for him to be the 8th Howler? He has a motif around him being the 8th Howler, with his name starting with H, the 8th letter in the alphabet, and his stand having the word 8 in it to reference specifically that he's the 8th Howler. Why does this matter so much though? Is something you might be asking. And although it seems to serve no purpose right now, Hacca actually used to be the 6th Howler, but was changed in the volume release to be the 8th Howler. Why would Araki go out of his way to change such a small detail if it wasn't important in some way? I didn't understand the reasoning behind this change for a while, until Hacca's stand name was revealed to be the Eclipse 8. His stand could have just been named Eclipse, so what is the importance of the 8? After thinking it over for a while, I was about to let it go, until I thought about something relating to the Zeppeli family and the spin. The spin heavily relies on the use of the golden rectangle, which can theoretically go on infinitely. And there is a special technique of the spin used by Johnny called the infinite spin, which causes a target to spin infinitely at a molecular level. Okay, this might sound stupid, but I believe the importance of hacca's motif of being the eighth is because a sideways 8 is an infinity symbol. Maybe, quite possibly, hacca is going to learn about the technique of the spin, or unknowingly use it while trying to create new lava rocks, being the first howler in 8 generations to use the spin. To me, this is crazy proof, but it low-key could just be confirmation bias. But I will not get off this rock until proven otherwise that hacca isn't a zeppeli. This is definitely a crazy theory that most people won't agree with, because the JoJo Land is only on its second arc. But you'll see, you'll all see. Stand with me, and you'll be known as the ones who knew the truth. Or maybe I'm dead wrong, who knows. Thanks for watching my crackhead batshit insane theory this far.